Hey guys, it's John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's so great to be with you. It's October 26th, 2024. You know what that means? It means that we are on a brand new master topic. That's really cool, isn't it? All right. So before we kick off the show, because you know I have a lot to share with you tonight on October 26th, 2024, this is the last Saturday in the month of October for 2024. I do invite you right now, before we kick off the show, to tell you to why not check some stuff out? Why don't you go get something maybe delicious from the fridge, like a wonderful beverage that's icy cold, maybe one that's hot, or one that's just lukewarm, or perhaps maybe get a snack that's healthy, like fruit, grapes, or some nuts, or perhaps something unhealthy like, let's say, candy, chocolate, or another type of sweet. So why not check that out and head back here to Inspirations for Your Life, because I would love to have you with me tonight as you sit back, relax, and enjoy as I bring another great master topic. But before we get started with the granular, the master topic for the week is understanding the power of good deeds. And you all know that when we start the show off, this is actually our episode number one. It's show series three, show 44, episode one. We're talking about what we're going to be going over this entire week. Now, we're not going to go through every single point, ladies and gentlemen, but we're going to go through what's going to happen this week. All right. And I think you guys are going to really find this show to be pretty amazing. All right. Understanding the power of good deeds. So let's kick this off. Hurry back from the fridge, if you would, please. Great. So welcome, everyone, whether you're here at 10:15 p.m., 10:15 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., it doesn't really matter. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. It's a podcast where we dive into extraordinary power of great deeds and how they can transform not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us that we care about so much. I'm your host, Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and I'm also a podcast coach, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this wonderful journey this week because we've got a lot to share. In today's episode, we're going to be exploring 10 impactful ways, just giving you the higher level overview of it, and then we'll get into much deeper sides of that. So get ready to unlock the potential within yourself as we cover first the power of kindness. Okay. We'll discuss what kindness is, how that is an amazing, priceless power, from something very simple to something very complex, and how that can create bonds. So I'm not going to tell you how to do it tonight, right? I'm just going to share with you that this is something that we can do. And we're actually going to cover that tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to cover that tomorrow. So I know you're going to definitely appreciate this. And hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be something that inspires you to become a better version of yourself. Now, this isn't hard to do, ladies and gentlemen, but it's something you've got to take a conscious effort at, right? Something you have to take a conscious effort at. So, with that being in mind, the power of kindness is something we're going to spend a lot of time on tomorrow. The next thing we're going to dive into, which will probably be on the next day, which will be volunteering time. What is volunteering? Why do we volunteer? How do we volunteer? We're going to go into all those questions and more about volunteering. You know, a lot of people volunteer for the wrong reasons. We're going to talk about all that, ladies and gentlemen, when you join me on the show, which will be happening. That show will actually be on Monday, okay? On Tuesday, we're going to talk about supporting those in need. We'll talk about recognizing those who may be struggling in many different ways, not just financial. We'll talk about what donations are and how you can be part of that chain. And I think this is important. When we think about support, ladies and gentlemen, it's about us figuring out how we can become better in our lives. I mean, I think that is the most important thing. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss in life. So we are going to dive into what that means for us, okay? We're going to talk about something else, which is creating inclusive environments. Now, that might sound like something very simple to do, and it is. But unfortunately, there's a lot of prejudice and things like that. So we want to make sure that we create inclusive environments. That means no discrimination for race, religion, sexual orientation, creed, color, political party. We'll get all into that. Don't worry, we will dive into that very, very deeply. We'll talk about what inclusivity means, how you create an inclusive environment, both at home and at work. Oh, by the way, guys, do check out believemeachieve.com. Why? So you can see all my amazing content, which will definitely empower you guys to become, yes, a better version of yourself. I think, ladies and gentlemen, it's important to know that when we think about inclusivity, it comes down to understanding what that means. And inclusivity means that you're not excluding anything or anyone, right? Inclusivity in the last, let's say, decade has gotten a new word. It's called diversity. And diversity is something that a lot of people don't really understand. I mean, they're being forced to understand it because of some of the rules and the laws, right? But creating inclusivity, it's not only about strengthening the social ties, but also encourages creativity and, of course, innovation. We're going to dive in later in the week. What are acts of compassion? Why do we perform acts of compassion? What do they do for us? I think that's the most important thing that I can share with you is that we have to understand, what that means and why it means what it means. I think that's a very, very important thing. And if you don't understand that, I think maybe you'll understand the fact that it's something that you embrace. Okay, it's something that you embrace. So we'll talk about what compassion is and what those acts are. We're also going to dive later in the week. We're going to talk about celebrating others. Everyone in this world is always about celebrating themselves, and there's nothing wrong with celebrating yourself. But when we actually learn to celebrate others and the victories they have, we not only can become grateful for them, but more things will show up in our lives that we can be grateful for. And guess what? Those people are going to want to be a cheerleader for us. If somebody's like, I don't have time for you, or I don't want to support you, that's probably somebody you don't want to be around, and somebody who's going to suck up all your energy. And I think that's a very, very important thing, ladies and gentlemen, to understand who sucks up your energy, right? And I know you're probably saying, John, how does this happen? Why does this happen? I think these are, very important things. So we're going to dive into those. We're going to talk about, achievements and what you can do, whether it's in social media. We're going to go through a lot of stuff. So that's a whole show in itself. We're also going to talk later on in the week about encouragement and motivation. So encouragement and motivation, which we're going to dive into what those are. I'm not going to get into that today. But again, this is a higher level overview of what the show of the week is going to cover. It's kind of like the index of what we're going to be covering each day during the week. So encouragement is very powerful, okay? But sometimes when we miss encouragement, it can frustrate us because when we don't get that pat on the back, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? No, I didn't get the pat on the back. How do I respond because I didn't get the pat on my back? Like, what do I do? And I think it comes down to the fact that, people want to be encouraged, but sometimes that encouragement just doesn't get delivered. Maybe it's somebody's personality, maybe it's a certain situation. So we're going to talk through that. Don't worry. So encouragement and motivation. We're also going to dive into creating lasting connections. So many people I know are in it for what can you do for me today? They don't really care about the benefits of the future. They just want to know about what can you do for me today? And if you can't do anything for me today, guess what happens? They become, let's say, very either argumentative, or sometimes they become jealous, or they might just get frustrated. So creating lasting connections is there for the greater good of you and the other person, right? We're going to talk about how we go from networking to friendships. We're going to discuss the meaningful connections and how they enrich our lives. We'll get into that. Don't worry. Later in the week, We're going to dive into the joy of giving. With us very close to Thanksgiving, I think we're less than a month away from Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about the joy of giving. Why do we give? What does it do to us? And how does it help others? Right? And giving doesn't always mean giving something like financial or giving a gift. There are other ways we can give of ourselves. Of course, we're going to dive in and we're going to talk all about that. Don't worry. All right. So now that we understand a little bit about that, there's one more thing we're going to cover this week, and that is inspiring others to act. Sometimes people are on the fence, right? And they don't necessarily want to act, but they don't know what to do. So if you have somebody that inspires them, that's a great way to do that. I think that's important, right? And I think when people understand that it's about not just the other person, it's about them, then I think it becomes like fun, right? So many times people are just doing things for the wrong reasons. They're doing things because it's what they want, but they're not talking or listening or communicating in terms of the other person. Does that mean that you should never do things for yourself? Of course not. But it does mean that you need to be in sync, that you need to be in a harmony with the people you're communicating with. If you're not, well, they're just going to leave you by the side and be like, sayonara, right? So inspiring others to act is a gift. Now, I said inspire. I didn't say manipulate. There's a difference. Inspire means that I'm going to give you reasons of why you should act. Maybe help strengthen your motivation, right? And there's a lot we'll go into, like the stories and how that can benefit you and how that can benefit others. So each of the points we'll be covering will guide you to help you lead a life filled with purpose and connection. And together, we're going to transform our insights into actions that create a brighter tomorrow for everyone. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are you waiting for? Definitely tune in to BelieveMeAchieve.com. Come back to our podcast tomorrow, which is Sunday, October 27th. And I know that when you start to realize that a deed is something you do, not because you have to do, but because you want to do. I want to end on this important note. Does anybody know what is the golden rule? Does anybody know what that is? So the golden rule, and this is right from Wikipedia. I want to share this. This is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. It's called the golden rule, and the golden rule is very important. It's the principle of treating others as one would want to be treated by themselves. It's sometimes called ethics of reciprocity, meaning that you should reciprocate to others how you would like them to treat you, not necessarily how they actually treat you. Various expressions of this rule can be found in a lot of different tenets and creeds throughout the ages. One is treat others as you would like others to treat you, positive or directive form. Do not treat others in ways that you would not like to be treated, negative or prohibitive form. What you wish upon others, you wish upon yourself, empathetic and responsive form. So we're going to learn about something very powerful this week, and that is the power of good deeds. We've learned about the universe and that everything kind of boomerangs back to us, whether it's good or whether it's bad. So I hope you guys will come back with me and start to understand that when we start to learn how to master our deeds, good deeds in life, it's going to pay us back tenfold. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's always such a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you on these amazing days and evenings. I hope you'll like, love, and support the channel. Definitely go out to BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow for a brand new episode. You already know what we're going to talk about tomorrow. In case you forgot, tomorrow's show's granular topic is going to get into the power of kindness. And this world definitely needs more kindness. So if we can learn how to be more kind, it'll help ourselves, it'll help others, and it'll make this world a much better place. Again, I'm Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I hope you guys have a fantastic evening, and I'm going to catch you guys tomorrow. All right? Have yourself a wonderful evening. Take care.